Welcome to Mama T Energy. On this podcast, we explore the journey of loving our lives through taking radical self responsibility for mastering our mindset, actions, and frequency in alignment with what brings us joy. We are creating a conscious collective, living fulfilled lives, witnessing daily miracles, and sharing our love. Today, we have a very special guest, Tara Tatangelo, creator of Eros Alchemy. Tara focuses on guiding women back home to their bodies to activate their Eros through sensual somatic embodiment. Welcome, Tara. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here and share space with you.
Yes. So to begin, I want to hear, what is your definition of Eros?
Of the word Eros. Eros. So Eros is erotic. It's like abbreviation for erotic. I actually started out as erotic alchemy, but society doesn't like that word very much,
Mhm.
unfortunately. But really the deep rooted truth of Eros is love. And love is the most potent, powerful energy that there is. It's our life force. And that to me is like when you think about love and when you're in alignment with love and you fill yourself up with love, you're kind of in that space of the highest energy that you can be at, where you're in that space of the alignment to your desires, to your passion, and yourself, right? It starts here. So when I learned about what that word actually meant, because I started out with erotic dance, with like pole dancing and things, it was like, oh, wait a second. This is like way deeper than me feeling erotic in my body. This is like true love, like pure love with life, with my food, with my partner, with my friends, with my animals, with the earth, with everything. Everything is made up of it. So, how can we alchemize our lives to align more with love?
Mm. I love this conversation. It's so potent and curious. So for your journey in your life, has it always had this overarching theme of love for yourself, or was it something that you've cultivated over time?
Definitely cultivated. I grew up not really understanding what it was to be feminine, what it was to like be in love with your body. That within society, I think society kind of puts a big old, multiple masks over us to make us feel acceptable or we compare ourselves or put, all of these different layers of pulling us away from loving ourselves exactly the way we are, whatever we come with. We all
Mhm.
got our stuff, we've all come from something. And I grew up with five older brothers and a lot of masculine, men in my family, where being the only girl was like, it was like almost like you need to show up like a boy, or you can't do this or you can't do that, or I wasn't able to do things because I was a girl. So really finding that love with myself came from dance, came from embodiment, came from learning how to feel what I was feeling and really identify with the body where I'm holding, it's a whole process. And it was really the beginning to my healing journey and my spirituality, because this work is also spiritual. It's not just about finding this self-love. Okay, well then also there's all other there's so many more layers to healing and really stepping into our power and into our bodies. So, but that really does first start with the love here, and then
Mhm.
everything else just starts to unravel, because then we have some of that core strength. Because if we don't love ourselves, then how can we really show up and fully give our all? And the same goes for like giving love, right? If we lack that for ourselves, we're giving from this empty space, which is not sustainable, and which is why we end up with all kinds of issues, mental, physical, because we're just giving all the time, especially as the feminine. It's
Mhm.
easy for us. We're nurturing. So yeah, it definitely was a journey, and I'm still on the journey. I think it's a lifelong path, because we go back and forth, up and down. It's like nothing's linear, within that. So yeah, it's definitely. I would definitely say it's been a journey, and it's been hard and beautiful and easy, all of the above.
Thank you. Can you talk a little bit about the duality of it all? Like, as we are, because I truly believe we're on a lifelong journey. So, yeah, there's going to be moments where we're like, yeah, I'm in it. I know who I am. I love myself. There's no greater love than how I love myself. And then there are moments where we're just like, we feel like we've like fallen off the bus, we've fallen off the wagon. And we can often bring in shame into that whole situation where we're like, but I know better, but I'm not feeling it right now. So, can you talk a little bit about that experience?
Yeah. I think I actually really love those opportunities, I like to call them, because they're opportunities for us to reflect, to really look at ourselves when we're comparing ourselves, when we're shaming ourselves. And most of the time, when we follow that back, it's coming from a learned behavior, a fixed belief, something that is actually has nothing to do with us. And we
Hmm.
just took it on and we're like, oh, this is my truth and this is how I feel. And then I suck, or I'm not good at this thing, or I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not skinny enough, or I'm not this or that, and all these layers that we put on top of, being okay and acceptable. I think that it's really important for us to have these kind of thought processes because it does bring us to the higher peace. It takes us to our higher self. It takes us to the alchemy that really happens when you have that thought process of like, oh, that shame that comes in, and you can see it, you can feel it, you can process it, you can go through the motions and turn it into something else, which is hopefully the Eros, the love, and do the work that it takes to get to that point. But that's the key, right? Is if I said this to someone on the street that has no body awareness, no self awareness, they're going to be like, what? Like, what do you mean
Hmm.
alchemize my emotions or feel these, different levels of myself? And there's nothing wrong with that because I started there. We all start somewhere, but that would be like that person would be like the person that I'm wanting to speak this to of like, wow, what would it be like if you could live in your life and actually take responsibility for everything that you feel and that comes through you? Because all of it is here as your teacher. All of it is here to help you grow and become a better person and to be in your power and to feel better and to show up better and to give from your overflow as opposed to just not having that overflow is a very common thing. Um, so does that answer the question? Because I could really go on for.
Oh, yes, I love it. It's so good. So I heard you say the word responsibility, and I understand like it goes back and forth where some people were like, we have to take responsibility, and then but there's also that like, but I kind of like to feel in my victim mode. I kind of like to like pull back. I want somebody else to be responsible. This adulting thing is hard. So can you speak to like where when you decided to take that responsibility and kind of what that looked like for you?
Yeah. um, you know it was the moment that I was in a class and the teacher gave permission for us to put our hands on our body, and I'm in a room with all women, kind of like candlelight vibes in there. It's nothing crazy bright, no mirrors, nothing. And she gave us permission to put our hands on our body and to just feel your breasts, your belly, your throat, your neck, like just put your hands on your body. It was like nothing sexual. It was nothing at all. It was just this moment of permission, and the discomfort and disconnect that I had with my body was so confronting to me. It was like, oh my gosh, like I've grown up a dancer my whole life, but I haven't been in my body. It's all been like mind and this outer piece of myself. And that moment, it was like, it was like that Jesus moment. You're like, oh, holy shit. Like I have no relationship with this body. I don't even know who I am. I don't know what I like. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I need. Everything just piled in on me. It was like that moment, that aha moment of this kind of sad feeling of not being connected to myself. And, growing up with a bit of some rough things going on here and there wasn't time for that. It was more survival. I was living in survival mode. up until really, and I still go in and out of that actually because it's part of
Hmm.
the journey. But um, that realization of I am living in survival mode since I was a child, it's time. I get to feel something. I get to come back home to me. And so I took it very serious and I dove in head first. I pretty much went right into a teacher training and I've done several since then. But it was very important to me that that connection needed to happen. And the feeling that I got was what did it. Because that feeling of discomfort, then by the end of class, was my hands all over my body, just feeling so good and just like, oh, this is what I feel like. Like, this is me. Like, I'm allowed to fully indulge in this. Wow. You know how many other women must feel like this? Is like one of the first thought processes I had. And that was when I knew when's the training? Sign me up. I want to be the first one on because I would really want this for myself to fully embody this. And then I also really want to share this. Like, this is the juice. This is the nectar. This is what's missing in the world in the feminine body.
Yes, 100%. Yes. And in the last time you were speaking, you said the word overflow, and I love that you said I get to. Like I get to connect. I get to be within, like, in this body and love this body. I get to be an overflow. And can you talk about what that overflow feels like and how we can kind of get from that survival or just enough mode to really start feeling that overflow?
Mm, gosh, it is such a good place to be, but it's not easy, right? It takes some serious discernment and devotion. You really have to show up. You really have to want it because we're so conditioned to just do. Like, the masculine is so present. The patriarchy, the society of this world, and especially here, it's very masculine. And what about the pausing? What about the darkness going into these layers in ourselves? And I would say the overflow comes from devotion. So the more that I do this work for myself, I wake up and I do qigong and I meditate, or I do sensual slow floor work. So many different ways. I mean, I could go on. The list is quite large. But me devoting to doing something that is me connecting to my body, me being able to connect with what's present, because with the moons and the planets and the life and me personally, and if you got children, if you have things going on all the time, when do you fill in, when do you put that space for yourself to devote and do the work that it takes to show up for yourself so that you have overflow? The overflow comes from you doing what you need to do to fill yourself up. And so that's also a big thing. Is some people, I've worked with many women that are like, I don't even know what that means. Like, I don't know how to fill my cup up. And so then I ask, like, what makes you happy? What makes you feel joy, love, bliss, pleasure? Pleasure is like such another word that gets misconstrued of like,
Hmm.
oh, pleasure just means orgasm, or that I'm like, feeling pleasure in an intimate experience. And it's like, you get pleasure by looking outside at beautiful nature. You get pleasure by eating delicious food. You get pleasure by hugs. You get pleasure by hanging out with your friends and people that you care about, and all of these things are filling your cup, nourishing your body, getting body work, like there's all of these different layers. So it's important to know, what is that for you? Like, what makes you feel good? Keep doing that. And then add on to it and find ways to nourish. Because I mean, we could do things that feel good, like, oh, I want to smoke joints all day and watch
Hmm.
movies. Okay, that does feel good sometimes, but is that fulfilling anything? Is that filling my
Right.
cup? If anything, it's giving me some silence and space to just be, and then kind of start to navigate a little bit of, well, where is my cup?
Hmm.
My half full or half empty right now? Um, And then you move from there. And then when you go back, because that's life, when you're back in your masculine and you're doing and you're going and you're being and providing for all the things, and you feel that like emptiness, you stop. You make that discerning choice for yourself to say, I am going to stop and go to this class or do this thing or take a bath. I mean, there's so many simple ways to do it, but we get so wrapped up in the busy and the doing and chasing. Because I'll tell you what, that list will never stop. You will always have a to-do list. There will always be more for you to organize and clean and do and be. And guess what? Those dishes will be there tomorrow. The laundry will be there tomorrow. That call you got to make, whatever it is, like it's all going to be there tomorrow. So give yourself some space to like fill yourself up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it because the imagery I always go to is the like when we are a cup, if our energy, if our best self is in this cup, then when it is empty and we're trying to do that call, do the laundry, do the dishes, there's nothing in the cup to even give out. So like you're not connected, you're not there, you're not doing the best. The dishes are gonna have chunks of stuff on it because you're just not like you're like, did I even clean this? Like, what's happening? Right? And so
Yeah.
it's better to just make sure that we're taken care of. You know, we're filling our cup, it's overflowing. And when we're overflowing, then like we're not only getting the best of ourselves, but everything that we touch is getting the best of ourselves.
Yes. Yes. 100%. That lack is not there. The lack is not there. It's like you enjoy washing the dishes. You're like,
Yes.
yes, look at how pretty and clean these are. Like I get to put them away. My kitchen is beautiful. You know, like it does. It's infectious into your life. It's amazing.
Yes, it
Yeah.
gets to be this intentional, almost ritual moment, which I think is perfect because this episode is airing on a full moon. So it's just like, you know, a time and an invitation. Again, create space for yourself, create time to do something intentional. It doesn't have to be like a 2 hour ritual unless you want it to be. It can be 5 minutes, meditate, journal, move, do something that just connects you back in to the now.
I literally just running a sadhana, which is in a nutshell, it's a devotional practice that you do for yourself, very
Mhm.
specifically that you choose. And I'm doing one right now that's 22 days. And I literally said 5 minutes. I hope that you do more than 5 minutes, but 5 minutes a day. That's it. 5 minutes. If we don't have 5 minutes to just like do this or a walk or whatever, these lists of things that we're talking about, if you don't have 5 minutes to do that, it's really sad. And we have to find a way to bring that in. I have a woman she's a single mom with twins that is showing up every single day doing this. And I'm like, I'm sorry, y'all. If anybody else be like, I'm too busy, I'm like,
Mhm.
This woman is working her ass off and showing up and doing the things. And there's multiple other women that are very busy, boss babes, doing the things. And that just to me is like, yes, yes, this is 5 minutes. A lot of them are doing more, which is great. But, it's important. It's really important.
We have to create the time for ourselves. I heard a quote and it was like, if you don't have 5 minutes a day for yourself, then you probably need an hour.
Yeah,
That's
that's
just how.
Buddha. That's Buddha. That's a Buddha quote. But really, though, I mean, it
It's
makes so much
true.
sense. Like that, and I do that I remind myself of that often when I get into the space of do, because I do have that part of me, even though I do this work on a regular basis. There's still times where I'm like, okay, 5 minutes ain't enough.
Hmm.
Like I need an hour. So I'm going to do 30 minutes in the morning and I'm going to do 30 minutes at night or whatever, and figure out how to make that work.
I love
Yeah.
that permission too to break it up. You know, like some people hear I have an hour to do something, then okay, like you could go to the gym for an hour, or you could, do a 20-minute walk in the morning and then like a 15-minute thing at your during your lunch break and
Totally.
then another, 30 minutes, whatever, at the end of the day. You don't have to do it all at one time.
Yeah, that pressure we put on ourselves it's debilitating. It literally like
Hmm.
stops us from doing the things. Like
Yes.
anybody else doing it for us or telling us to do it. So we get to make the rules, but just show up and follow through for you. Yeah.
Exactly. Can you talk a little bit about what working with you looks like?
Mm. Well, it depends on a lot of different things, but you're either looking to build that relationship within yourself because it's so far fetched and gone, or maybe it's never been there, like where I
Mhm.
started. Um, and, or it's, there's some deep traumatic shadow wounding going on. Um, Being a double Scorpio, there's no fear going into the underworld, into the darkness. So um, I really, really love to help people find these core wounds. And when we find those core wounds, it's very confronting. It's quite intense, right? Of course, we're finding something that is ruling our life in a non positive way.
Mhm.
So I take these women on a journey and to somatically find what is going on in the body because it's very we do a lot of mind stuff. I think talk therapy is great. There's a lot of beautiful things that come from that. But we're forgetting about the body. Like the body is also needing therapy. The body is the one holding everything.
Mhm.
The mind thinks things and then puts it somewhere in the body, which is like with qigong, qi follows thoughts. So like the more the things that we are thinking and doing or the experiences that we've had that are not so great or very traumatic, they're finding a little nest in the body. And that is, I truly believe, where dis-ease and disease come from, one of many ways. But when we're not fully able to extract something emotionally, it is going to fester and it is going to like hold on. So, like in Chinese medicine, that all of the organs are holding different types of emotions, right? So if you're going through grief, we go through the lungs. If you've got some anger and rage, we go into the liver. Like we find ways to literally heal from the inside out because that's truly, to me, that is where the actual healing happens. And there's a full circle to feeling it, seeing it, tasting it, doing it, being it, and then moving through. Because as we all know, that saying is like the only way in is through.
Mhm.
And so for me, it came through dance. It came through started with dance, but then when I started to get more into learning about shamanic healing and tantra and really learning how important our energy body is and how to keep it clear and learn the chakra system and all of these layers of healing that just started from a little pole dance class that I took that liberated me. And so I believe women in their eros, in their love, in their eroticism, in their sensuality, in their fucking pleasure, we're unstoppable. We literally, like, everything just starts to make sense and it starts to, like, the web starts to come together. So I would say I take these women on a journey from wherever it is that they're starting from. And some of these women are coming in and they're already like, I am ready, girl. Like, I just want to like dive deeper into my eroticism. I want to feel more pleasure. I want to get more excited in the bedroom and learn how to channel this energy. So
Mhm.
there's like from the woman that just is, starting out in this work and completely confused and a little intimidated by me or this work. There's like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. To a woman that's like, I need to go deeper. I want more of this. Like, this is changing everything in my world. So there's like a really wide range of this really beautiful, pleasurable experience as we go in and out of the shadows and find those. We bring the light into the shadows and find those core wounds and we reel them back in and we find ways to alchemize. We find ways to turn that shit into your power, into your pleasure. So with my background and the different things that I've been through in this lifetime, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm so grateful because I could have gone so many different directions into the pain and the suffering that I said, no, I chose me. I chose pleasure. I chose joy. I chose all of the things that bring me to my Eros.
Mm.
So it's a journey. It's a journey for sure. Lifelong.
I love it. And those of you looking to choose love, what are some of the best ways for, or what's the best way for our audience to connect with you?
To connect with me. So I have my own website that kind of brings everything in together. And it's just my full name, TaraTatangelo.com. That's where I put all of the different offerings, and then previous offerings that may not be running at that time. So you could like go through the website and see all of these different beautiful offerings that are happening. And I even take, requests like if people are like, I really want to do Shakti Heart Rise, which is a breast massage ritual we do. I get a few requests of that. I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm gonna put it on the calendar. I'm always open to like creating and doing things. Everything gets run at least once or twice a year. And a couple of things that I do are every month. Which is the Queen's Den
Mhm.
class that we do together. So there's a lot of different things, but the website I would say would be a great place to start so you can kind of see what Eros is. Now, if you want things a little bit more visual and kind of see more of a day to day, Instagram, obviously, we all love our Insta. That's a great place to kind of stay connected with me on the daily. And then the mailing list is kind of where you get my more personal juice, the stuff that I can't really talk about and share on platforms that are being regulated. So
Mhm.
so much. So my mailing list is, I offer lots of really yummy things there as a little extra add-on. But yeah, those are kind of like the main alleys to get through. And then once we work together, you pretty much have connection to me directly at that point.
Ah, magical. And I want to offer you a little magic. So, I have my Light Tears Tarot deck with me today. Would you like a reading? And if so, is there something specific you would like a message on?
Yes. Okay. I would love a reading from you. That's amazing. I would love to hear. My question would be, is there any direction or any insight that I am missing, that I'm not seeing, that I'm not feeling or paying attention to in the direction I'm going right now within my Eros business?
Mm, good question. Let's see. Mm. Ooh, I love it. Okay. So the three cards that like literally just jumped out of the deck are first up we have this Ace of Swords. And this is like looking at all of these cards, they're all just, we have the Ace of Swords, the Three of Cups, and the Star. So all of it is just bright. There's like purple, beautiful, wonderful coloring to it. So I want to say overall there's really nothing that's hiding from you. Like you are very self-aware, you understand what you're doing, you've done the work, right? And so this is just, the invitation is more just like keep going, keep opening your heart, keep opening your mind. The Ace of Swords is here for like, hey, you're having ideas show up, right? And so this is your invitation to like play with those ideas and see what comes up, see what community comes around you, continue to link arms with people, collaborate with people. That's that Three of Cups, that energy of connectedness. And I love that they're like women in nature, right? Like, like keep doing like retreats, the things that bring us together. And I'm feeling like bring us together in person too. Like, yes, we're in a virtual world and it's amazing that we're able to connect with people all over the world, but there is this call for connection and with the work that you do with being in the body, being in like person brings that to that whole next level. And then we also have the Star. And so the Star is like the reminder that one, you, my friend, are a star. Like you have this magic, show up, share your magic with the world, but also don't forget to like wish on the star, right? Like
Mhm.
you're like you're able to create so much in this world. So allow yourself the ability to think as big as you possibly can, and then know that like the universe, God, source, the divine has even more in store for you. So like our minds are where our limits are. So allowing ourselves to just like think beyond the cosmos, get bigger, continue to expand. And that brings us back to the Ace of Swords. Like it's all for full circle. Allow that expansion in.
Love it. Wow. Yes. Wish upon a star. I love, like my inner child was all, wee, yes, let's do it tonight. Love, yes. Oh, definitely. Never stop wishing and desiring and dreaming. Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing some of your magic as well. That is well received.
You're welcome. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you would like to share with our audience before we hop off for today?
Well, I was going to offer if you felt the call to like do a little drop in of some kind of movement or a check in
Yes.
body. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. Awesome. Are you sitting in a chair?
I am.
You are. Okay. We can still play with it. So something that I truly believe is so important. And this kind of comes from the tantric background is the womb and the heart. Connecting the two is so
Mhm.
important as the feminine. And even the masculine, connecting the base of the lingam to the heart. But there is a lot of ancestral, even bloodline trauma that we hold in our hips, in our womb,
Mhm.
all around this area, which is also where our lower dantian is, which is our power center. So I would love to just guide you into like a very subtle, we'll do like 2 minutes, like so that you can even go deeper into it yourself, just to know the
Mm.
patterns of what we're doing. So first, we'll just have you close your eyes and elongate your spine. The spine holds so much information, each vertebrae, in between each vertebrae, there's wisdom to be told here. So connecting womb to heart and then activating the spine. There's a lot that can come through if this is an easy, simple practice. So we're seated, lifting up through the crown, feeling your tailbone kind of reach down. So that kind of softens the lower back, like a slight tuck of the pelvis. Then bringing your awareness down into your womb. I want you to take a nice deep breath in. I want you to actually receive the breath. See if you can receive that breath in all the way down. Fill your womb up with that inhale. And then as you exhale within your awareness, I want you to imagine that energy as you exhale, move from the womb up into your heart. So when you're ready, go ahead and do so. Then you inhale, bring it back down to the womb. Exhale, bring it up to the heart. Now I want you to just softly start to move the spine. So when we inhale, you're going to stay in that kind of elongated space where your spine is straight. You inhale all the way down to the womb. And then as you exhale, you're going to softly round your spine. So like say the middle of your spine is reaching behind you. Yes. And then you're going to inhale, bring it back up. So it's kind of like a spine wave, right? So you're very gently. And then as you exhale, round back. And just doing this a few times, kind of feeling that connection of the breath, the spine, the womb, and the heart. So exhale and maybe even try rounding a little bit more. Bring your chin down to your chest. And then as you inhale, bring yourself up. Feel your chest open, your heart open, open through the throat. Inhale, breathe all of that beautiful chi into the body. And then exhale, rounding back, slowly rounding the spine. Chin comes down to the chest. Now we're going to add one more thing in for these last couple. So inhale, bring yourself back up. Then you're going to squeeze your love muscle, the perineum, a Kegel. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then exhale, round into your spine wave. Round back, chin to chest. Empty out. Then bring it back up. Inhale, squeeze that love muscle. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And if you feel called to pulsing it, so squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. And then exhale, round back. Let's just do it 2 more times so you can really feel that chi, that life force energy moving up into the body. Inhale, fill up the womb, squeeze the perineum, squeeze that love muscle, hold the breath at the top, hold it, and then relax. Sink back in, and then we'll do one more, this last one. See if you could take an even bigger breath as you start to come forward. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, let your heart come out. Squeeze the perineum, love muscle, squeeze, 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 pulse, 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 hold, 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 and relax, round back. Just completely surrender and find yourself back into your neutral state. Ah, yay. Thanks for letting me guide you there. It's
That
one of
was awesome. I love it.
yeah, a really good one. Take that little nugget with you and put it in your toolbox, in your tool magic bag.
Yes. I will. Thank you so, so much for your time and your expertise, Tara. It was amazing chatting with you. Friends, check the show notes for access to her website and to her Instagram. And of course, if you're available and you are watching on the day that this streams, then I invite you to our full moon experience. You can just shoot me a DM and I will get you the Zoom link for that magic. And you can always go to www.mamateenergy.com to check out all of the wonderful offerings that we have available. Thank you so much for listening. Like, share, subscribe, and have the most magical day.